Welcome to our live stream this week. For everyone who's new, my name is Julia Martin. I'm a licensed physician originally, and then did something totally new on top of that. I studied functional medicine because I struggled with eczema for so long and needed a new way. My conventional medicine knowledge didn't help, so I learned something new, and that finally helped me to overcome my eczema struggles. At some point, I started this group, and now I help others to overcome their eczema struggles as well. Today, we have something specially prepared for you. I have somebody joining me. Let me do this. And that's Haley. So welcome, Haley. If everything works out, you should be there, visible right now too. I can't see you yet. There you are. Perfect. Hello, Haley. Thanks for doing this. Hello. Thanks for doing this with us and for everyone and sharing a little bit of your eczema story. So maybe you could just get started and share with everyone a little bit of your eczema story so that they know, what happened before you actually found us.
Yeah, so I have struggled with eczema throughout my life, on and on. It started as I was a kid. It's really always been on my hands and feet, sometimes my elbows. And it's always been able to just get pretty calmed down within a week or so with just using steroid creams here and there. Well, last June, I had another flare-up, and I tried to use my old steroid creams, and it didn't work. And so I went to the dermatologist and basically got stronger steroid creams, oral steroids, ended up having a biopsy done and some patch tests, which revealed that I was developing some allergies to nickel and some other preservatives and soaps and cleaning products. So I had to change my diet and avoid those things, and it was still not working. So having to use steroids to keep it at bay just still wasn't enough. It started getting a little bit better as I changed my diet and tried to avoid the allergens. And I started using a different cream, Eucrisa, which was helping keep it calmed down. Also taking oral antihistamines. So I was just getting loaded up with meds, and it was getting it calmed down for the most part. But if I did stop a day or two, it would kind of creep back up. So I knew I was kind of on the right track and didn't want to do any, biologics. I didn't want to do Dupixent or anything like that yet, because I just, thought I was kind of moving in the right direction with that and the changes, but I needed more guidance, because sometimes you just hear so many different things and you want one person to really spend the time with you to look at everything. And Julie was able to spend a lot more time, instead of just an hour once every 6 weeks. She was able to really, really look into everything and help me. So that's kind of what led me to finding Julia.
So then you joined the group, and I think you looked a little bit through the different things there in the group, right? Mm-hmm. And then what led you to book the evaluation call?
Just not reading, but just watching some of the videos. Mm-hmm. Seemed to be some things that I had already researched, and I thought that it just more help would help me figure things out. So saw that you were doing the free evaluation, so I thought that I would give that a try and see how that would go. And yeah.
Good. All right. And then you did.
Yep.
Decided to sign up, right? Mm-hmm. So for you, we decided to go and focus on nutrient deficiencies, right? You got some blood tests done with your primary care provider, but that took long, not because of you, but just because of the situation there, right? With rescheduling and all of that. So we just kind of did it blindly in the beginning, right? We started that and started you on a regimen for that, for nutrients with supplements. We changed your diet quite a bit intensely, but you were very familiar with this already. It wasn't super new. You left some things out, very inflammatory foods, right? And we learned on the way from your food journaling, which things are good, which are not. So we adjusted that a little bit too and pulled out the food triggers that are there for you, just to kind of address the superficial level of things, right? We just did we wanted to get the triggers out so that the inflammation can go down and that your cells can actually start repairing themselves. That doesn't happen when there's a lot of inflammation. So we did that. And then we knew that you have a nickel allergy. So many people who join my program with dyshydrotic eczema have a nickel allergy. And so we know even in normal conventional science, there's maybe a relation or correlation. And so we want to also be a little bit aware of that. On the other side, if we go on a very reduced nickel diet, like extensively, which you tried before a little bit, right? It can deplete us in nutrients. So it's complicated to juggle that, right? So we decided to just take out the biggest intruders, right? The things with the highest nickel content for now. And to help a little bit, because holistic care sees it a little bit different, we think when there's a metal allergy involved, that there might be even a toxicity connected maybe to the metal itself that we're allergic to or to a similar metal. So we started to bind those, right? And did that parallelly to give your immune system a little bit more space, hopefully, not being so offended by, we didn't test that. We just assumed that there might be a metal toxicity in the background and your immune system is not liking that. So we're binding it. We're still doing that actually, and moving it out of your body really gently. All right. And then we worked on your skin barrier function. You had to get on the skin regimen at least a little bit, the obnoxious one with lots of work, but you did it. Or maybe you want to share, like you have an awesome job and you need your hands every day. What do you do?
So I'm a physical therapist. I use my hands all day long, typing on my computer. I'm using my hands to stretch people's joints and massage their necks and all kinds of stuff. So it's been very challenging. I'm really glad that my hands don't crack every time I touch something now.
Right.
So
huge change. Like for yours, I mean, who's not aware of their hands? But for your kind of work, I mean, you really, you probably were looking at them every day even more intensely. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to share very quick. We worked a little bit on stress awareness, had a lot of conversations around that, and you're slowly moving towards all sorts of things in the future. You haven't really been able to change everything around that, but I think the awareness changes the outlook a little bit as well, right? We worked on your cell membrane function. Sounds so technical, but it's really that you're taking things to help your cell membranes to work better in your whole body, not just in your skin. And that helps to get hormones to work better in every cell, to get nutrients into the cells better. So those are things that kind of happen on the side. We worked on your oxidative stress. We learned that you have a lot of that sometimes. And you remember we had your blood draw right after a marathon you ran, right? And it was a little bit, well, I'm smirking because I thought, oh my gosh, it's so much worse than I thought. And from the labs, and you're like, could it have something to do with my marathon yesterday? Yeah. So that was, you did, or you do that. And we had to also realize that maybe that's not ideal for the time of healing, that we have to be a little bit calmer to, marathons are awesome and definitely something to create a lot of what's called hormesis in the body, right? We're stretching the abilities and train it with that. And yes, that's awesome in the long run. But while we're healing, we actually don't want to cause so much extra oxidative stress in the body, and any kind of excessive exercise creates a lot of free radicals and therefore a lot of oxidative stress and inflammation. And we could see it in the labs. So we're buffering that a little bit as well. And you're aware of that. And while you're healing, we're going to, you're trying, I know you're still doing it, but like not to that degree, and maybe a little bit calmer. And then, I know. And then, with time, like there will be much more, you will have a bigger buffer to do that again without causing as much trouble for your, skin at least. All right. And we also worked, of course, on your microbiome diversity. You are actually an example of my clients where we didn't do a gut test. So with lots of adult clients, I do a gut test, but it's quite expensive. And I try to only do it and suggest it when I get some hints out of the health history that really point me towards it. So we talked about it and I said, maybe, maybe no. And we said, okay, maybe later. Like if we're not getting anywhere fast enough, then we'll do it. But we didn't have to. So we didn't actually know exactly like how targeted we have to be. We just did a general approach and optimized what we knew or what I understood from, well, a few questionnaires and our health history. And from what I knew from you in general, we do a few little do-it-yourself tests at home to learn about your digestive function and can optimize that as well. But yours actually wasn't so bad, right? So all of that was already pretty good, and we didn't have to go all the way into, the detail of that, which was good. And we worked on leaky gut parallelly the whole time. You're still also doing that, without even being in the program anymore. And we also got together a sustainable diet for you that you can at some point, you're not there yet, but at some point that you can get back to a somewhat more, let's say, less complicated dietary approach, right? And that's laid out. And right now, you're working towards it so that your hands are, we set the goal as 4 weeks perfect, right? Without any eucrysa. And then you can slowly introduce foods again, and you know how, and you have a plan for yourself, even though we're not working constantly with each other anymore. You're out of the program already, but you can do it for yourself and you know what to do. Okay. Now, that was a lot of talking from my part, but I have a question for you. We have to look at the time a little bit. I promised. You have to go back to work. I know. Can you maybe share with everyone what results you've experienced so far?
So my two main results or goals that I wanted was obviously my skin to be clear and to be a little less stressed. Overall, just reducing toxin exposure and just I basically did the Whole30. That was my diet. I've also noticed like clearer skin on my face, and just doing the gut health protocol. I felt like I was eating so much, but I like lost weight as well. And I don't know if that's I wasn't trying to, but I think it's a good thing because maybe my body was just functioning better, my metabolism was getting better, stuff like that. So like I felt good, and now my skin looks really, really good, and I'm just decreasing the eucrysa slowly so my body can adjust. And I haven't used steroid creams in almost 3 months now, so that's a really big win. So
it is.
yes.
So I posted the picture, right, of your hands, especially, I think that was which hand was it?
That was my left hand, my left hand.
Your left hand with the ring, right? Freshly engaged. So exciting. And so, sorry, I hope I may share. It's just so exciting for you. I know. And you could put the ring on without it hurting your hands, hopefully. And they're looking good right now. We haven't actually checked in this morning about them, but the last pictures I got from you look great. And there are still tiny few vesicles sometimes there, right? Like it's much reduced and they're not going crazy anymore, but they sure are still there a little bit. And you decided to do kind of the last little bit on your own because you have a plan and know what to do, I hope. So that's really, I think, the last question, then I'll let you go. But now that your skin is so good, like we're still not stopping. We're not saying, okay, done, good now. So do you have a plan in the back of your head? Like, do you feel good about that? Like what's happening now for the next weeks or months?
Yes, I do. I know what I need to do now to be able to continue, and that's kind of what I do in my job. I want to give people the tools so they can do it on their own. And I feel like Julia helped give me the tools that I need to take care of my body. So it's not just somebody doing it for you, it's them helping you do it for yourself. So I know what I need to do to get my body fully healed, and things take time. They take longer than you want it to.
Right.
But I think it's possible to get there. I mean, it is possible.
Yep. I'm convinced of that too. For probably everyone. I mean, we got to find all the puzzle pieces, right? And sometimes it's hard to find them. Sometimes they're a little bit easier to find. And it really depends on our unique dynamics that have already been built in the body to deal with what I call the original root causes, right? There's a whole different tier system of how we develop disease or a state of dis-ease, right? It takes a little time. We feel like we have suddenly this diagnosable thing, but it's really not how that works. We slowly develop it step by step, and it gets worse and worse. And often we don't see or feel any of that. We might feel a little fatigued or so, but we don't really feel or see so much of that from the outside. And then suddenly we have eczema, really bad. The flare is not going anymore. And then we know, okay, something is weird, but we really feel like it happens suddenly. But it's not like that. So now that we're reversing step by step the things that likely led to the situation, it also slowly, step by step, stops to be there because it doesn't have to be there anymore. And your immune system can relax. And that's where you're at. All right. Thank you, Haley. That was very helpful, I hope, for everyone to hear that from you and make this whole program a little bit more real. Thanks again. And I'll let you go right now. I know you need to go back to work. And I almost got to my goal at 12:30 here this time. All right. I'll say bye right now. Have a good rest of your day. And thanks again. And we'll stay in touch anyway. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining our live stream today. All right, guys. Have a really good rest of your day. And we'll talk soon again or see each other in the group. Bye-bye for now.